1980 was a landmark year for horror cinema. The genre welcomed classics such as Friday the 13th, The Shining, Cannibal Holocaust, and Maniac. Yet, just as he had done the previous year with Zombie, Lucio Fulci delivered a film so grotesque, unique, and unforgettable that it stands shoulder to shoulder with the very best horror films of its era. That film was City of the Living Dead. Also known as The Gates of Hell, City of the Living Dead is the first entry in Fulci's loosely connected Gates of Hell trilogy. Building upon the success of Zombie, Fulci returned with what was, at the time, his most visceral, ambitious and stylistically accomplished work, combining gothic horror, Lovecraftian themes and Fulci's unmistakable blend of graphic excess proved to be a winning formula. The film is drenched in atmosphere. Thick fog blankets deserted graveyards, moonlight illuminates crumbling architecture, and the mysterious town of Dunwich evokes the spirit of H.P. Lovecraft at every turn. The result is a stunningly photographed horror film, filmed with haunting imagery, high concept ideas, and enough blood and gore to satisfy even the most hardened genre fans. The story begins when Father Thomas hangs himself in a lonely cemetery in the mysterious town of Dunwich. At the same time, Mary Woodhouse, Katrina McCall, participates in a seance in New York City. During the session, she experiences terrifying visions that leaves her screaming in horror before apparently dying from fright. Authorities investigating the incident are quick to dismiss the bizarre circumstances, although strange supernatural occurrences soon begin to challenge their skepticism. Enter journalist Peter Bell, Christopher George, who starts digging into the mysterious case. His investigation leads him to the cemetery where Mary's body is about to be buried. Just before, something extraordinary happens. Mary awakens inside her coffin. After rescuing her, Peter joins Mary on the journey to Dunwich. Together they discover that Father Thomas' suicide has opened the gates of hell, and unless they can close it before All Saints' Day, the dead will rise and walk the earth. Meanwhile, the residents of Dunwich begin experiencing increasingly horrifying events, from isolated loners and local drinking buddies to young couples and respected professionals. The town's inhabitants find themselves exposed to supernatural forces unleashed by Father Thomas's death. One by one, the body count rises. A power drill destroys a young man's skull. Lovers meet gruesome ends. Groups of townsfolk are slaughtered. Jerry, the local psychologist, played by Carlo Di Maio, watches helplessly as friends and acquaintances disappear one after another. Eventually, Mary and Peter arrive in Dunwich and team up with Jerry and young John, the brother of one of the victims. Together they descend into the crypt beneath Father Thomas's tomb. Inside they encounter a nightmare landscape of hanging skeletons, decomposing remains, flesh-eating rats, and supernatural apparitions. The climax of one of Fulci's finest achievements, set against what may be one of the greatest horror themes ever composed. The dead rise from their graves in an unforgettable montage as our heroes find themselves cornered by Father Thomas himself. Surrounded by zombies, fire and death, the fate of the world hangs in the balance. Will they close the gates of hell, or is this merely the beginning of the end? There is an astonishing amount packed into the film's 90-minute runtime. Fulci throws mythology, symbolism, supernatural lore and surreal imagery at the audience with little concern for conventional storytelling rules. The result is a film that often leaves viewers with more questions than answers, but that is precisely its appeal. City of the Living Dead doesn't hold the viewer's hand. It isn't afraid to choose atmosphere over logic or style over narrative clarity. Instead, it invites audiences into a dreamlike nightmare where conventional rules no longer apply. Released during one of horror cinema's strongest years, the film managed to carve out its own identity among a sea of slashers, zombie films and future classics. While zombie fever was at its peak in 1980, Fulci's undead stood apart. Rather than simply shuffling toward victims, these supernatural creatures teleport, stalk from the shadows, and appear almost ghost-like in their behaviour. This unique approach makes them feel genuinely unsettling and memorable even decades later. I firmly believe City of the Living Dead is one of the most important horror films of both 1980 and the 1980s as a whole. The influence can still be felt throughout horror cinema, and it remains one of the most beloved entries in Fulci's filmography. Behind the camera, the dream team of Italian horror was operating at full capacity. Fulci directing, Dardano Sacchetti writing, while cinematographer Sergio Savai, composer Fabio Frizzi, and special effects artist Gino De Rossi all delivered career-defining work. Their combined efforts created a film that remains a stunning example of horror as visual art. The cast is equally impressive. Katrina McCall quickly becomes a fan favourite thanks to her appearance throughout the Gates of Hell trilogy. Instantly likeable and highly capable, she brings warmth and credibility to an increasingly bizarre story. Christopher George possesses undeniable leading man charisma, having established himself through numerous television appearances and film roles throughout the 1970s. He delivers one of the strongest performances of his horror career here. His natural screen presence makes Peter Bell a compelling protagonist. Sadly, George passed away from a heart attack in 1983 at just 52 years old, making his performance here all the more treasured by fans. Carlo Di Maio, Daniela Doria and Janet Agron were all familiar faces in Italian genre cinema, appearing in numerous cult classics throughout the era. Then there are Giovanni Lombardo Radice and Michele Soavi, two names that become increasingly important the deeper one explores Italian horror. Radice, often credited as John Morgan, became one of the genre's most recognisable performers, appearing in films such as Cannibal Pharaohs, Cannibal Apocalypse, and The House on the Edge of the Park, and that's all just in 1980 alone. Meanwhile, Michele Soavi would eventually emerge as one of Italy's most talented directors, after learning from masters such as Dario Argento and Lucio Fulci. He went on to direct classics including Stage Fright, The Church, The Sect, and the masterpiece Della Morte Dell'Amore. Collectively, the cast and crew of City of the Living Dead represent a true who's who of Italian horror cinema. And then there's the gore. Where do you even begin? The zombies themselves look fantastic, covered in grime and photographed with eerie lighting. They remain some of Fulci's most intimidating creations. The infamous vomiting sequence remains shocking even today. The image of a young woman seemingly regurgitating her internal organs has become one of the defining visual moments of 1980s horror. The various skull-crushing effects are wonderfully gruesome, aided by excellent sound design that gives every impact tremendous weight. Then there's the legendary drill to the head sequence, perhaps the film's most famous effect. Through clever editing, practical effects, fake prosthetics and real drilling equipment, Fulci and his team created one of horror cinema's most convincing and disturbing death scenes. Arguably, this may be the most consistently impressive collection of special effects in any Fulci film. Fabio Frizzi's score deserves equal praise. Atmospheric, haunting, and instantly recognisable, it perfectly complements the film's surreal visuals. Building upon ideas introduced in Zombie, Frizzi created what I consider to be the finest work of his career. The main theme is one of my favourite pieces of music in cinema history, filled with dread, melancholy, and apocalyptic grandeur. It transforms already powerful scenes into unforgettable moments. It truly sounds like the soundtrack to the end of the world. Trivia time. For his 1983 American theatrical release, distributors initially retitled the film Twilight of the Dead, in an attempt to capitalise on the success of George A. Romero's Dawn of the Dead. Following legal objections, the title was changed to The Gates of Hell. Lucio Fulci reportedly had a playful but turbulent relationship with Christopher George. One famous story claims that Fulci reached for his tobacco pouch one day only to discover it had been filled with live maggots as a practical joke. The 1982 UK release was heavily censored, with approximately 1 minute removed, including the infamous drill sequence. The film would not receive an uncut UK release until 2001. The 1988 American film Through the Fire, which was heavily influenced by Fulci's work, was later marketed on VHS as The Gates of Hell Part 2, The Awakening, and even featured a dedication to Fulci on its packaging. Final thoughts. If you haven't seen City of the Living Dead, do yourself a favour and change that immediately. It remains one of the defining achievements of Lucio Fulci's career and a cornerstone of Italian horror cinema. Atmospheric, surreal, gruesome and endlessly influential, it continues to captivate audiences more than 4 decades after its release. But be quick, All Saints' Day is fast approaching and soon the dead will walk the earth, so hurry, there isn't much time left. Hello guys and welcome to the Blu-ray physical media collection portion of the video. Got a few editions of City of the Living Dead to be looking at. First edition is the Arrow Video DVD release, the window box edition. It says 30th anniversary edition at the top there. I think this came out in about 2011, I want to say, so quite an early one. Turn it around, 2010. So again, like I said, quite an early one for Arrow. These window boxes were you know, a big deal at the time. Everything looked uniformed. They looked quite nice on the shelf, but it didn't last long, so quite sought after. But again, this is just a DVD release. They released the Blu-ray version pretty much identical, which I do have, which we'll be looking at next. But yeah, I won't go into the extras on this one because, like I said, it's on the Blu-ray release. But I had this on hand, so I thought I'd grab it and chuck it in. There's one of the artworks, and like I said, the gimmick for the window box was each cover is different, that you could show it off, but 2-discer doesn't come with anything. It did come with postcards, booklet and a poster, I believe, but yeah, sadly missing all those on this DVD release, so which is a shame. But like I said, I do have the Blu-ray, so I'll be getting that up in a sec. But there's the first release, and here is the Blu-ray release of City of the Living Dead, 30th anniversary edition again, so same year, 2010. And with this one, if we have a look at the bonus features, you get theatrical cut in stunning high definition, 7.1 Dolby surround sound and stereo audio. Special features: original theatrical trailer, Dame of the Dead, live from the Glasgow Theatre, the many lives and deaths of Giovanni Lamberto Radice, penning Sumpora, Dardano Sacchetti remembers City of the Living Dead, the audio recollections of Giovanni Lamberto Radice, audio commentary with Katrina McCall and Jay Slater, Profondo Luigi, a colleague's memories of Lucio Fulci. Obviously a typo there, so Lucio Fulci. Never noticed that before. Fulci's daughter, memories of the Italian gore maestro. Carlo of the Living Dead, surviving Fulci fear. Fulci in the House, the Italian master of splatter. Gallery of the Living Dead. So quite a lot, to be fair, quite packed. Like I said, for the time it was nice to get these lavish editions of these kind of films. Like I said, 2010, quite early for these like boutique Blu-rays to be popping out, so quite popular. But one discer, and this one has got quite a lot inside. Like I said, what the DVD was missing, this makes up for it. You've got a fold out poster, which I believe is the Gates of Hell one sheet, and then the UK quad on the other side. Got the booklet by Callum Waddell, and then we've got some postcards showing different artwork from different countries, which is quite nice. And then just advertisement of other releases from the time. Some real heavy hitters on there, so what a time to be collecting. Like I said, pretty stacked release, very popular at the time. But that is the next edition, City of Living Dead. Then we go on to a bit of a favourite, and that's the Steelbook of City of Living Dead. 5-year anniversary of Arrow Video. These Steelbooks were exclusive to Zavi. They released quite a few. I want to say City of Living Dead, The Beyond, Inferno, Day of the Dead, Maniac Cop, perhaps a few others, but yeah, just to get a steelbook of this was incredible for the time. Really nice steelbook as well, but special features to my knowledge identical to the window box Blu-ray. So if we take the J card away, got that cover, really nice, and then that's the back. J card was on the wrong way, but open it up, there's the disc. Just get a booklet this time, but yeah, really nice release. City of Living Dead, quite sought after, I imagine now. Same with most of those early Arrow Video steelbooks. Next up we have just a standard Amaray release, City of Living Dead. I've currently got it on the Gates of Hell poster, just to change it up a little bit, but again, disc is identical. That's the thing, you know, with a lot of these Arrows, especially if you've been collecting them from the start, you kind of just, you know, build up a collection of the same film, just different editions. But yeah, for some films you can't I just can't say no. So like I said, this is definitely one of them. So again, nice edition, nice budget release of the film. Picked that up quite cheap, probably in a HMV 5 for 30 sale or something like that. So then next up, we do have quite a big one, to be fair, and that is Arrow Video's Blu-ray box set of City of Living Dead. Again, at this point they had kind of got into these deluxe box set editions of films in City of Living Dead, made a welcome addition to that line. This was 2018, so quite a while ago, to be fair. They're still pumping out these styles of box sets for Blu-ray and 4K now. You get quite a lot of extras on this, probably a lot that we've already seen, but like I said, this was a newer release, so they have probably put quite a few new extras in. But just scanning over it, you've got, just trying to find new stuff, you've got a interview with special effects artist Gino De Rossi, the horror family, new interview with father and son actors Venantino and Luca Venantini, songs from Beyond, a previously unseen interview with composer Fabio Frizzi, Carlo of the Living Dead, an archival interview with actor Carlo De Meo, Building Fulci's City, a new video appreciation by Stephen Thrower. Lucio Fulci Reflections on Fulci, a new appraisal of Fulci's Gothic period by actor, writer and director Andy Nyman. The Dead Are Alive, a new video essay by Kat Ellinger on Lucio Fulci and the Italian zombie cycle. Behind the Fear, behind the scenes 8mm footage with commentary. The Gates of Hell, alternative US theatrical release opening titles, original trailers and radio spots, extensive image gallery featuring over 150 stills, posters. So yeah, 60-page booklet by Travis Crawford and Roberto Curti. So again, quite a stacked release, quite a lot of new extras. Obviously going with that iconic original UK quad for the box art. Open it up. And we've got the poster that comes with it is being used as the backdrop at the moment. Again, it's double-sided with the Gates of Hell on one side and the British quad on the other. One discer again, but with this one it is a new transfer, which is nice. Quite a nice newly commissioned artwork. Really dig it. And yeah, like I said, new art cards. Looks to be from the German lobby cards, which is nice as well. Some great stills on here. Really good quality. And then again, double-sided. Yeah, really nice. 60-page booklet. Quite thick. Images, posters, tons of information. Yeah, really extensive. So that is that's really nice to have in the collection. Now there is one release I am missing, and that was it was like that box set but 4K, released a few years ago. New artwork, obviously new transfer, being in 4K, but at the time I was kind of in a phase where I was like, well, you know, didn't have the funds at the time or whatever, and I thought, yeah, I'll come round and, you know, pick that back up at a later date. Obviously that was a big mistake, went out of print super quick, goes for silly money now in the aftermarket, so sadly did miss that release. Otherwise, you know, I'd have a pretty complete collection, at least from Arrow Video, when it comes to City Living Dead. It has had a few other releases in the States. Had a double bill release. I think it was released by Dark Forces Entertainment in kind of like a grindhouse presentation. It's had a Scorpion release, 2 or 3 discer, and then recently it's had a Cauldron release, and that is the edition here that I picked up not so long ago, to be fair. And it was kind of picking up this release that was really the catalyst for, you know, me creating the channel almost. I thought, you know, I want to kind of get back into collecting physical media. I took a little bit of a break, only picked up a few things over the years, but like I said, I really wanted to get back into it. And I saw this for cheap, heard great things about the release, so picked it up. And then I thought, you know, let's try and do something out of it. And, you know, that's how the creation of the channel come about, really. So I've got, you know, a lot to thank for this edition. And yeah, it's a great edition. I mean, Cauldron released this film on like a more of a like a extensive special edition. I think came with a CD soundtrack, a poster perhaps came in a nice slip box, but sadly, again, I think that's, you know, way out of print. Couldn't find that at all. So, but got this one for a really good price. It's 3 discs as well, 4K Ultra HD. This was the version I watched for the video, and yeah, absolutely stunning. No complaints whatsoever. Audio transfer, just, you know, out of this world. So Again, newly commissioned artwork on the front, it's quite nice. Then on the back, sorry about the glare, but we got quite a few special features. We got disc 1 and 2 new commentary by Sam Dahan, commentary by Troy Howarth and Nathaniel Thompson, archival commentary with Katrina McCall, archival commentary with Giovanni Lamberto Radice. Then disc 3, you've got interview with Massimo Antonello Gilang, interview with Giovanni Lamberto Radice, on-stage Q&A with Valentini and Rogero Diodata, Katrina McCall Q&A, Fabio Frizzi Q&A, interview with Gino De Rossi, interview with Carlo De Meo, a trip through Bonaventure Cemetery, trailers, image gallery, plus more archival extras and other surprises. Yeah, stacked release. This one is 4K Ultra HD, Blu-ray, disc 2 is Blu-ray, and then disc 3 is the special features. Obviously with the 4K, that's region 3. Not too sure about the other 2 discs. Could be region A locked. I've not tried them, but might not be. We've got a kind of like a little art card showing the full artwork for the newly commissioned artwork and other titles. So if you pull out the sleeve on this and reverse it, you get the image of this as the front cover. So that's quite nice. You've got a nice option there. There's the Blu-ray disc. There's the extras disc. And there's the Ultra HD. So again, stacked release. Really nice. No complaints. I would like to pick up that special edition at some point, the other Cauldron release. But for now, this is my go-to viewing when watching City of Living Dead. I would like to get that other Arrow video edition that I missed out, but again, it's just yeah, hard to track down for a good price. They did release it singly without the box set and booklet and stuff like that, that you can get for £16 or something like that. But I wanted to change it up. Like I said, I got plenty of Arrow editions, so I wanted to give another company a shot, and yeah, Cauldron nailed it. So looking forward to seeing what future releases of City of Living Dead come out. And yeah, that's my physical media collection for the Gates of Hell. But on to my personal thoughts and opinions. I mean, what's not to love about Gates of Hell? It's one of those films where I'd watched a few times. I remember watching it quite young at a friend's house on VHS. It's at the right age, it's the scariest film ever. And then as I got older, I kind of shifted more to like Zombie and The Beyond, and kind of neglected City of Living Dead. Watched it a few times and it didn't really click until recently, probably this viewing for the video. Yeah, it just clicked on all levels for me. I've always been quite partial with The Beyond, as out of that little Gates of Hell trilogy being my favourite. But I think the tides have shifted, and I think City of Living Dead might be my favourite now. I mean, like I said, it was just a perfect viewing experience, and it's just great from start to finish. I mean, the gore, even on 4K, watching it on a big TV just holds up so well. You just don't see anything like that. I know you do with indie films and stuff like that, but it's just, yeah, it's just so visceral and in your face, and so inventive and creative. So that always gets bonus points. And really, across the board, the gore in the film is pretty flawless. There's nothing that really stood out where I was like, oh, that doesn't hold up. Or and again, with the 4K quality, I mean, you can see everything a lot clearer now, but it still holds up. Uh, and yeah, it's just tons of familiar faces in this. Uh, Great dialogue. The soundtrack is just, again, that main theme is just one of my absolute favorites. Listen to it a lot, listen to the soundtrack as a whole a lot, when I'm at work and stuff like that, and it's just like, it's so epic. So yeah, love the soundtrack. Cinematography, obviously, Savati, a Fulci regular, just nailed it. The atmosphere, everything is just drenched in fog, in darkness, and it really does set the tone. Obviously, being heavily inspired by Lovecraft gets bonus points as well. I do love a good Lovecraft story, so 2 thumbs up for that. But yeah, tightly paced as well. Didn't feel like it dragged any points. I know the ending gets a bit of flack. It feels quite rushed. I know there was some issues behind the scenes in terms of getting it out the door, and they didn't really know how to end it. So I can understand the choice they made. I mean, compared to the Beyond's ending is iconic. So it's a bit of a shame that the ending's lacking in this, but the whole film just has such a nightmarish, dreamlike quality that it gets a pass. Um, you know, Maybe I'm being biased, but yeah, it's creepy. Uh, how do you end the gates of hell? So I mean, yeah, no issues, and just yeah, great time. Like I said, it's iconic. Um, Everyone has wanted to watch City of Living Dead has probably seen it multiple times. So I'm preaching to the choir here. You all know the film inside and out, I'm sure, but for people that haven't seen it, you're in for a real treat. Uh, it's so stylish, and yeah, just a quintessential 1980 horror film. Really have no faults of it. Like I said, it really did click this time, and I was waiting for it to click. I knew that it would. I knew the ball would drop at some point. For me, like I said, this is probably overtaking The Beyond as my favourite out of that trilogy. Yeah, that's City of Living Dead. Uh, Go out and watch it. Can't recommend it enough. And the people that have seen it already, watch it again. But I hope you enjoyed the video. Like I said, this was a bit of a bumper special, like Zombie. I plan to do every 5 reviews. The 5th review being a more of a special, in-depth look at more of an iconic Fulci film. So again, I hope you enjoyed the video. But at the moment, I'm working on a special video for Night of the Living Dead. I just wanted to do something to break up the Fulci marathon, to keep it a little bit fresh. And I thought no better place to start with the original Dead trilogy. Obviously, I released the trailer last week to show that it's coming soon, and I've been working on scripting it and gathering footage and additions and stuff like that. So I'm hoping to get that out next week. So there might not be a Fulci film next week. I will try and knock another one out, but at the moment that's just taking up a lot of time. So, but I'm really pleased with it. So I hope you guys enjoy it as well. I'm hoping to bring something fresh to the table with it. So have a few things planned for the review. But again, like I said, next Fulci film, Lizard in Woman's Skin. Keep an eye out for that. And yeah, hope you all enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. Take care.